Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Things are falling apart between the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga. The player is making more money elsewhere, but hasn't received satisfactory offers. The Warriors want to keep Kuminga and have offered a $45 million two-year contract. It seems Kuminga will accept the Warriors' offer, and this conflict will have a happy ending. It's no secret that Jonathan Kuminga doesn't feel valued by the Golden State Warriors. The 22-year-old NBA champion forward would love nothing more than to join a franchise willing to remove the training wheels from the get-go. However, it appears that Kuminga will be forced to spend the first portion of the 2025-26 with the Dubs, considering the franchise has struggled to craft the perfect sign-and-trade headlined by Kuminga. With training camp right around the corner, what are the two contract options on the table for the former lottery pick? NBA training camp is in 4 weeks, and the October 1st deadline for Kuminga to accept the qualifying offer is under a month away, Johnson wrote Tuesday. So, where are the two sides? Still miles apart, it appears. The one-year, $7.9 million qualifying offer remains the most attractive offer to Kuminga at the moment, sources continue to tell NBC Sports Bay Area. The Warriors have offered a 2-year contract worth roughly $45 million, but are holding strong to a team option for the second year, while Kuminga and his camp have made it clear they want a player option for year 2. Year 1 of the Warriors' offer is $21.75 million, per sources, but because of the base salary compensation rule, Kuminga's outgoing salary is equal to half of that. So, much of this entire situation comes down to control. Kuminga must increase his trade value if he wants to garner significant interest from teams during the 2025-26 campaign. Assuming Kuminga signs a new deal with Golden State before the start of his 5th NBA season, the 15.3 points per game scorer would be wise to start fast in year 5. Luckily, Kuminga has the luxury of picking up where he left off, as the 6'7" forward played exceptionally well against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2025 Western Conference semifinals. Kuminga averaged 20.8 points on 54.3% field goal shooting and 42.1% three-point shooting in 5 games against Minnesota. While the Timberwolves made quick work of the Dubs, Kuminga showed he could respond positively to his late-season benching by showing up when the organization needed him most. Stephen Curry was unable to suit up for most of the series due to a calf strain injury. Gary Payton too will need to face the ultimate test if he returns to the Warriors. GPII needs to be that guy off the bench. The Golden State Warriors, throughout the course of this offseason, have seemed poised to bring in multiple veteran guards that could fit rather quickly into head coach Steve Kerr's system. Yet, perhaps the most important piece this offseason, Gary Payton too, has gone relatively unnoticed as one of the potential signees for Golden State, and, if he does return to the Bay, his skill set will be absolutely vital to keeping the bench unit in sync. If organizations learned anything from last year's NBA Finals, it's that depth wins championships, and, as the Warriors attempt to build some of their own, Payton must take on his ultimate role as an intense, hustling defensive phenom. Gary Payton too must enter his final form if he returns to the Warriors this offseason. Payton, last season with Golden State, averaged 6.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists on just 15 minutes per night, largely off the bench. As a veteran with both wide experience across the league and lengthy experience with the Warriors, he has slowly but surely earned the trust of Kerr across his 2 stints with the team. Yet, as the offseason began, it appeared as though Payton was ready to walk in free agency. Nevertheless, Payton's name has almost always been included among the guards that Golden State has been consistently linked to this offseason. While a number of these guards, including Malcolm Brogdon and Seth Curry, would present a different skill set than Payton, Payton's familiarity with the system and penchant to make winning plays has to make him an attractive target on a veteran minimum for the front office. If Payton were to return, however, his role would become increasingly important for the team. With a probably bench unit of Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield and maybe even Brandon Podziemski, the Warriors have the potential to be seriously dangerous on that front. Yet, many of these players' skill sets are scattered and disjointed with one another, and they would desperately need a strong defender and an intense, smart ball handler to help the unit reach their fast-paced, high-flying potential. While someone like Brogdon, who averaged 4.1 assists last season, might seem like the ideal fit, Payton's pure energy and schematic fit make him the absolutely perfect player to slot into this role for the Warriors. Therefore, if Payton does return to the Bay, he could be in line for the greatest challenge of his career to this point, keeping the bench unit cohesive and helping to propel Golden State back into contention. Warriors given mixed Stephen Curry reality that will terrify fans. How many years has Steph got left at the top? Stephen Curry has now been the face of the Golden State Warriors for well over a dozen years, leading the team to 4 championships as one of the best players of this generation. At 37 years old and about to enter his 17th NBA season, Curry hasn't shown many signs of slowing down. However, that presents a mixed reality for Warrior fans who still witness a heavy burden thrown on the shoulders of the 2x MVP. Stephen Curry could still be the Warriors' best player in 3 years. In a recent article for Bleacher Report, writer Grant Hughes had a crack at predicting each team's best player in 3 years' time. Curry will be 40 by that point and 2 decades into his career, but that hasn't stopped the prediction that he'll remain Golden State's best player. But what if Curry is still an All-NBA player in 3 years? Stranger things have happened, Hughes wrote. And though Steph would be entering his age 40 season in 3 years, longtime rival LeBron James is proving success is sustainable at that age. Plus, it's not like the Dubs are teeming with prospects. This presents a mixed reality for Warrior fans and the prospect of the team's championship hopes in the coming years. On one hand, it's great to think that there's still years of Curry's magic left to enjoy. While we should never take his brilliant audacious shot-making and wizardry for granted, there's some relief in knowing that this could still go on for a little longer if Curry can remain healthy and with some injury luck. We know there's few others in the league who prepare their body for the on-court rigors like the 11x All-Star. The issue though is considering the fate of the Warriors if Curry is still their best player in 3 years' time. Some may already be questioning his ability to be the best player on a championship team heading into this season, and even Golden State fans would have to consider that prospect highly unlikely in 3 years. The more terrifying element is wondering if Curry can even be a star player at 40 years old if the franchise continues to put a heavy burden on him, having suffered a hamstring strain in the playoffs that was undoubtedly impacted by a big workload over the second half of the season. If the Warriors want to retain hopes of contending by the time Curry is 40 years old, they're almost certainly going to need a blockbuster trade for a younger superstar. Giannis Antetokounmpo has long been the dream for owner Joe Lacob, but who knows what happens around the league between now and 2028. Perhaps there's also just a likely reality to come to terms with that Curry will continue to dazzle and bring joy to fans for a while longer, but that the Warriors' chances of winning another championship in the coming years are slim as presently constructed. The Warriors could have a difficult season due to having signed so few players. The date is September 6, 2025. NBA Media Day is scheduled for September 23, 2025, less than 3 weeks from now. The Golden State Warriors currently have 9 players on standard NBA contracts and one on a 2-way contract. Jonathan Kuminga has not re-signed or been traded. And otherwise, there is deafening silence around what's next on the docket for Golden State's front office. We know the Dubs are waiting on Al Horford, but with all due respect, a 39-year-old backup center is not worth putting your entire summer on hold. Especially when there's no guarantee that Horford even keeps playing. The man is considering retirement for a reason. Kuminga will probably come back on the qualifying offer and spend the next few months trying to force a trade. That won't help things. It's impossible to rule out Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, but man, who are the Warriors going to play around that core? Unless Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody take huge leaps, Golden State is looking awfully thin. There are a few worthwhile free agents left on the marketplace, but Golden State doesn't exactly have a huge reserve of open cap space. Malik Beasley, Malcolm Brogdon, and old friend Gary Payton too are all worth a look in addition to Horford. Hell, at this point, even Russell Westbrook might be better than nothing. But the Dubs are waiting way too long to put a legal roster together. Old teams with depth issues don't have the best track record in recent years. The Suns' offer to Jonathan Kuminga has screwed the Warriors. Unlike Cam Thomas, who generated little rival interest before taking his qualifying offer with the Brooklyn Nets earlier in the week, Kuminga has received major contract offers from the Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings in the event that they could work out a sign-and-trade with Golden State. According to Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher on Friday, those offers have emboldened Kuminga and could now lead him to taking the qualifying offer rather than accept what the Warriors are currently presenting. Kuminga and his position has been emboldened by the fact that he has received legitimate interest from other teams, most notably the Sacramento Kings and the Phoenix Suns, Fisher said. Because that money has at least been out there on the table conceptually, that has led Jonathan Kuminga to anchor down and put his feet in the sand and say that he has no reason to take the 2-year, $45 million, that Golden State has offered. Fisher would go on to specifically note the Suns' 4-year, $90 million offer to the former 7th overall pick, making it exactly double what the Warriors are currently offering. It can even be seen as more than that given Golden State are adamant on making the second year a team option, meaning their deal is really only just over $20 million in guaranteed money. The Suns and Kings have been unable to tempt the Warriors in sign-and-trade offers, leading to a further stalemate as Golden State remains eager to bring Kuminga back despite their reluctance in raising their offer. The Kings notably offered Devin Carter, Dario Saric and 2 second-round picks back before Summer League even started, before increasing their package to Malik Monk and a protected first-round pick which the Warriors also rejected. A package from Phoenix would likely include Royce O'Neal, Nick Richards, and multiple second-round picks, not something Golden State have or would look on favorably. Still, the fact the Suns have presented a near $100 million deal to Kuminga could play a major role in his decision to drop a bomb within the Warriors by taking the qualifying offer. Jonathan Kuminga nightmare will gift Warriors one incredible trade silver lining. The Golden State Warriors continue to be in a free agency stalemate with Jonathan Kuminga, making the potential of the young forward accepting the $7.9 million qualifying offer more likely by the day. According to Brett Siegel of Clutch Points on Thursday, Kuminga is prepared to accept the qualifying offer if the Warriors don't move on their present offer of 2 years and $45 million with a second-year team option. Having Kuminga on the qualifying offer would be a nightmare for Golden State given it would all but seal his departure with no return as an unrestricted free agent next offseason. However, it would also bring one major silver lining that the front office, and the fanbase, could at least look forward to. Warriors can use their trade exception if Kuminga signs qualifying offer. While the Warriors prepare to offer veteran center Al Horford the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, they'll otherwise be limited to minimum contracts if Kuminga accepts their current offer or something north of $20 million per year. That changes should Kuminga take the qualifying offer, potentially giving Golden State access to a different roster-building tool that would otherwise be almost impossible to use if the 22-year-old is on a bigger salary. The Warriors still have an $8.8 million trade exception to use as a result of Kyle Anderson's departure to Miami. Having Kuminga on a bigger salary would push them so close to the second apron that the TPE would practically become meaningless, but suddenly room opens up if he takes the qualifying offer. A TPE allows a team to acquire a player without having to give up an outgoing salary. In this case, Golden State would be able to trade for a player making $8.8 million or less just by using draft capital. That could open up a lot of avenues before the season starts or perhaps more so closer to the trade deadline. Whether it be a veteran player on the mid-level exception or a young player still on their rookie contract, there's a number of valuable players that could become available. If Kuminga does sign the qualifying offer, the Warriors must use the TPE to ensure they gain something out of what would still be a disaster. It would still be preferable for franchise and player to agree to a new contract that satisfies Kuminga, while also giving Golden State the flexibility to trade him in January or February if things go awry.